Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Sunday Night Live. I am super excited tonight to be joined by my son, Tommy Richmond. Hey, Tommy.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Can't wait to be here. So excited.
We are so excited to be able to share our book, Dragon Smart, with you. We're going to do a read aloud. We're going to have some Q&A. We're going to share a little bit about our story, but we would love to know who's here. So if you could, in the chat, share who you are and where you're coming in from. We are going to be doing a drawing tomorrow after this live stream and pulling any comments that are coming through the chat tonight. We are going to be pulling a lucky winner to win a copy of Dragon Smart. And so we will be giving that away. We have two different versions of our book that we are going to be giving away. I'm going to show you. We have a paperback and we have a hardback. So two lucky winners will get one of either one. So we'll see. We'll do a drawing for both. And it looks like we have Russ here and Aunt Cheryl. So glad that you are joining. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad this is working this week because last week they made some changes with Facebook where they were no longer letting streaming happen within Facebook groups, only pages. And so I attempted to go live last week and it didn't work. And so I ended up just going live by myself and then posting the recording later. It's not nearly as fun. So I'm so excited to see interaction in the chat. It's amazing. So I would love, Tommy, why don't you introduce yourself? Most everybody knows me, but not everybody knows you. So tell us who you are, where you live, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So I'm Tommy Richmond. I'm from Southern Oregon originally. About 3 years back, I decided that I wanted to move to New York. And so that's where I currently am. And I've been here for about 3 years now, working at a coffee shop in Brooklyn, loving that. And then we've also got to do some really exciting presentations and book tours this year, which have been really exciting to get out of my comfort zone and talk in front of people a little bit and share my story. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I draw in my free time.
It's been so fun to get to join Tommy on some not only read alouds virtually that we've done for some classrooms, but also to be able to speak at conferences. Tommy and I both got to go in person to IdeaCon in Chicago, kind of outside of Chicago. And we also got to present together at Spring Q in Palm Springs this year. Both were amazing. Tommy crushed it. He's such an amazing public speaker. And so we're looking forward to more opportunities. Yes, you did. You crushed it. So, and more opportunities to get to read aloud too, because it's just so fun to get to share. And before we read our book tonight, I want to share a little bit of the background story of how Dragon Smart came into being. So I'm going to start it off and then I'm going to let Tommy finish the story. But we would love to hear your questions today. So if you have questions, about the book writing process, if you have questions about Dragon Smart, the book and anything about that process, please put them in the chat because we would love to answer them. Yes, Russ got to see us at Spring Q. It was so awesome that he was able to join in. So that was really, really special. So this message behind Dragon Smart was a message that had been on my heart for a really long time. And really, it all kind of stemmed from this idea that we have so many kids that are in our classes. I was a teacher for 20 plus years that are brilliant in so many ways that oftentimes are not validated in their school experience. So these kids are going through school really not feeling like they're very smart because maybe their test scores or their grades don't show it, yet they're so brilliant. And that was how I felt about Tommy. Tommy had struggled throughout his school experience, and yet he was so brilliant in so many ways. And it broke my heart as a mom to know how brilliant he was, but not to have that validated maybe in his school experience. And I had so many kids that fell into that kind of same idea of just really not being able to have their skills showcased in the way that they really wanted to. And so I really wanted to be able to share this message in some way, but I really didn't know how to share it. And one night I decided that I was just going to start writing. And it just started coming out in this kind of story, children's story rhyme. And it was just one of those times where I just felt like it was meant to be, because it just all poured out. And I wanted to tell Tommy that night that I'd written this story, but it was late. And so I think I even had texted him and said, hey Tommy, I have this story that I wrote. I would love for you to hear it. And he's like, Mom, can you call me in the morning? It's really late. And I said, oh, sure. Yes, I can do that. I'll call you in the morning. And so I called Tommy in the morning and I read the story to him. And Tommy, do you want to kind of take the story from there?
Yeah, absolutely. I loved the story immediately. I totally connected with it. I knew that it was about me and the story that you were trying to tell, so it obviously connected with me. Um, I was really, really nervous because I'd drawn clothes and renderings like that before, but never any characters. So even though I thought it would be perfect if I could illustrate the story that was about me, I was really nervous if I had what it takes or not, because I wasn't used to drawing characters. So I drew the first one for Tommy the Dragon, and I did not like it. I still have it on my iPad. Um, and then I did a second one. Didn't like that one either. Then I finally was able to do a third one that we both agreed had the characteristics that we were thinking for the story. And once you said you liked it, I was like, yeah, of course I'm in. Um, and yeah, then the rest of it happened, and we got to work side by side for the whole year editing this thing and designing it, and um, asking my mom if she liked the characters and if anything should be changed. So it was an awesome experience. Super super excited that it ended up working out.
It did. And I want to talk a little bit about how we put this book proposal together for Dave Burgess Consulting. But Dave is making me laugh right now because he says, hey, where were you when you wrote this? At a desk, at a couch, patio? And okay, truth be told, I actually was taking a bath. So it is a story that I don't share too much, too often, but thank you, Dave, for making me share that out loud. I do love a good bath. And so that's where the story was poured out into my notes on my phone. Actually, was where I first recorded it. So we had put together kind of this collection of Tommy's illustrations of these characters, and we had put the story together, and we shipped it to Dave Burgess Consulting. Dave Burgess Consulting was who published Make Learning Magical, and just loved the whole process of writing and publishing through that company. And so I really wanted first to be able to pitch it there. And so we were so excited. Tommy was home over the holiday break. And we got a message, hey, can you jump on a Zoom call? Tara, Martin, and Dave asked us to jump on a Zoom call. And I remember being so nervous. I'm like, Tommy, I have no idea how this is going to go. Like, they might just be trying to let us down easy now that Christmas is over and they can give us the news. We thought maybe it wasn't going to be, but sure enough, they took on the project, and we're so, so grateful. It was such an amazing process of co-creating this book together and making it come to life. As Tommy said, like, this was the first time that he'd ever illustrated anything before. And so he didn't know kind of all of the nuances of illustrating and all of the it's just such a learning curve. And it was quite a year that Tommy and I spent just working on refining and really making sure that the illustrations matched the story that was being told. So Tommy just did an amazing job, as you're going to see. And I feel like this is a great time to begin reading the book. to you. And we would love to hear your questions at the end, and we'll be happy to answer and share a little bit more about the illustration process and the writing process when we're done. But I want you to know that as we are reading this story and we're flipping through the pages, so much of Tommy came through in his illustrations. There's so many cool little Easter eggs that are kind of there throughout. And so you guys can be looking for those Easter eggs and things that meant something to Tommy. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to share the reading of this story. So I'll start, and then he will we'll kind of go back and forth through the pages of this book. So this is the cover of the book, Dragon's Fart. Again, we have it in both hardback and in soft copy, so you can find either one of them on Amazon. Every day, Tommy the dragon went to school, and every day he listened and he followed the rules. He memorized many definitions and facts. He did equations too that he'd add and subtract.
But often when the questions came, Tommy feared his teacher would call his name. His friends had answers when the teacher would ask, but Tommy's answers didn't come nearly as fast.
He wished and prayed with all his might that he could learn without a fight. He secretly hoped when he took a test that he could for once score the best.
But when he'd get home and begin to play, he'd forget all about his struggles that day. Tommy built towers and sculpted with clay. Every now and then, he'd help bake a souffle.
When it was time to go to bed, tons of ideas would swirl in his head. They'd dance and glide and whirl all around until Tommy drifted to sleep, safe and sound.
But then without fail, on the day of a test, Tommy would feel nervous as he got up and dressed. Later in class, when the test was passed out, Tommy would look at the questions and want to yell and shout.
All that he learned would swim in his head, but it didn't connect in the way that he read. The words would be jumbled and the numbers all blurred. The questions didn't fit anything he had heard.
Between the tick of the clock and the tap of a pen, the sounds in the room would make his head spin. He'd answer the questions and always do his best, but Tommy had a feeling his test was a mess.
On one fretful test day, he'd had quite enough. The questions on the test were especially tough. I guess I'm not smart, he said with a sigh, and he released his emotions by starting to cry. Tommy ran to his room when he got home, hoping he could spend some time there alone. His mom knocked at his door. "Are you feeling sad?" Tommy breathed fire because he felt mad. "I want to be smart," his mom heard him say, "but learning is hard for me every day. I listen, I study, and I follow the rules, but no matter what I don't do well in school."
His mom gave him a hug, looked him straight in the eye, and said, "You are smart, Tommy. Let me help you see why. You may struggle to read or count in your head, but you can create fantastical stories all your own instead. Your ideas inspire me with wonder and awe. You paint beautiful pictures we hang on the wall."
Your heart can sense when your friends feel blue. You invite lonely students to sit with your crew. You make everyone laugh. You are very funny and make the rainiest days bright and sunny.
You have a special sense of style and design clothes that make everyone smile. You have rhythm and can keep a beat. You make all your friends want to tap and stomp their feet. My precious Tommy, I want you to know you are one of the smartest I know. You have a magic that is all your own. It will sparkle and shine even when you're all grown.
Keep drawing and painting and sculpting and baking. Keep listening and learning and never stop making. Keep crafting jokes that make others smile and keep celebrating your unique sense of style. Keep dancing and dreaming and making your art. Keep showing others your big, caring heart.
You are so special and loved beyond measure. Your smart is magic and you are a treasure.
The end. That is our Dragon Smart story. And as you can tell in Tommy's illustrations, that he really made those words come to life in the most amazing way. And I'm just so proud of him. And I'm just so grateful that Tommy and I could be on this book creating journey together. And again, just so grateful to Dave Burgess for giving us the opportunity to have this book published. I just can't believe it. Every time I see it, it just makes me smile from ear to ear and tear up a lot of times too, that this book is actually a reality. So we would love to hear any questions that you have or wonderings. And we just would love to chat with you. So please put those thoughts, comments in the chat. And maybe as we are having you throw those in the chat, Tommy, maybe you can share some of the Easter eggs that you had kind of added to the pages that maybe people don't realize are there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when we went and spoke to some classes in Oregon in person, it was really funny, some of the questions that the different kids would ask and what certain things would mean, and what certain Easter eggs were, and if the story really happened, and how could it really happen if you're not a dragon? That was a really good question.
Yeah.
You know, I also, just one more thing before I tell the Easter eggs. It was so
Yeah.
funny because I remember when we were in the 5th grade class, I think, and we finished the story and everyone raised their hand, and the first 2 questions were, "What is a souffle?"
Right.
That was really funny because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I knew what a souffle was when I was that young, but there are tons of Easter eggs in the story. Everything really did happen over a span of what, kindergarten through senior year, pretty much. Um, and yeah, so you might be wondering, why is the dragon only wearing a bow tie and socks? Those are the 2 main things I had a collection in, specifically from 6th grade to 8th grade. Um, my poor parents had to watch me go through all these phases of collecting bow ties, and they'd say, "Are you going to actually wear these bow ties?" And I usually wouldn't, but sometimes I would, and I loved collecting them. And same with my socks. Um, the paintings on the wall are, one of them's Oregon, one of them's New York. There's a few different places in there. There's a painting of a of a Mona Lisa, which was based off of a dragon that I drew for Grace, my girlfriend. So that's a funny one.
It is right here.
And then the clothes, because I did an internship for 3 years in Oregon where I was helping make clothes. I love making clothes. There's vases in there because my dad taught ceramics for a number of years. I Heart New York shirt because I live in New York. Not a lot of souffles in Medford. True. And then, yeah, we have the oven and cooking because me and my mom loved cooking and baking and all of these things when I was a kid. I really was into it. And my mom was a culinary teacher.
There was one page, I think it was, I know that, well, this one was the one I think you were talking about. I'm going to put it up again. With the paintings on the wall, right? Were you referring to that one?
Yeah. Yes, I was, because on the top, one of my favorite trips I ever went on was with my grandparents when I was younger to the Grand Canyon. And I kind of took a picture at the Grand Canyon. It was very blurry and it was with my grandma's phone, but kind of based off of that. On the bottom is the New York skyline. On the right was supposed to be kind of like Oregon, the Vitruvian Man. I actually have a tattoo of, so there's all these things that rope into to everything. And I was kind of, when I'd read the pages, I wouldn't even know that I was writing it down or have to think about it. It was just how it came to life, which was really exciting.
I love it. And I love this picture of the mom and Tommy is my very favorite. I love Tommy's creation of the mama dragon.
Can we get a show of hands for who likes the mama dragon more than Tommy the dragon?
So cute. It's my
Got a
favorite.
lot of compliments on that
Yep.
specifically.
So cute. So, and then I think one of the other ones I wanted to point out, I don't think you mentioned this one yet, but there is a page where you have here, I'll show it. You have the dates on the wall on the whiteboard here, and those are all what can you want to share what they represent?
Yeah. So A, 1999 is my sibling's birthday. B, 1973, both the year that both my parents were born. C, 2002, when I was born. And then another one that I wrote down in this page, which was funny, but not a lot of people might get it, is on the back of the history facts book. There's a little picture of a mouse in the top left corner, and that's because my favorite book, kind of the only book I read when I was a kid, was Geronimo Stilton, the book about the mouse. That's all I would read. So that's what that is.
They're so cute. And another little known fact is that when Tommy started the illustration process, and really when the story was first came into being, all of the characters in the book were dragons. And we decided halfway through with some suggestions from the editing team that maybe Tommy and the mama dragon should be the only dragons and everybody else should be different characters. And that started a whole new kind of editing journey for Tommy, because he had already had quite a few of the illustrations done. But both Tommy and I agreed, like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That we brought other characters into the story. And so Tommy was all for it. And he just, I mean, I remember that same day he whipped up some kind of renderings of animals, and I'm like, oh my goodness, yes, like this is going to be awesome. But it took a lot of time. And I think that was one of the things I was most impressed with Tommy about throughout this entire book writing creation process is that he never gave up. And there were lots of setbacks and times where it would have been really easy for him to just get frustrated and to throw in the towel and just go, you know what, I just don't know that I want to continue doing this. But he never gave up, and he just kept editing, revising, kept teaching himself lots of things about illustrating that he'd never known before, because again, this was all new to him. And so I don't know if Tom, you want to speak to any of that or not, but I just was really, really, really proud of Tommy for all that he has accomplished through the process.
Well, first of all, once we found out that it was going to get published, I was like, okay, it's real. There is no option to, even if I do get frustrated or have to figure it out, this is a real thing. So I'm going to have to stick to this, and I want to stick with this. And I love the story and everything about it. But whenever I used to draw in the past, even clothes or any renderings, so many times I would start a picture and then not finish it because I'd get frustrated. And so it really taught me that I just have to, maybe I'll take a 10 or 20-minute break, but then I'll go back to it, and hopefully I can see the page in a different way where I can make something happen. And I also will say that the production team, my mom, the editing team, everyone was so incredibly patient with me and awesome, because it was my first time doing this, and a lot more went into it than I would have originally thought. And I'm so glad that it's out now, and I hope to do more in the future. But thank you, everyone that was patient while I was drawing.
Yeah, you did such a great job, Tommy. And I'm just so proud of the book, and just so proud to have joined you. Well, we did it together.
You too. You wrote it. You wrote a great story.
Well, I appreciate it, and it's been so fun. And so I know we are kind of coming up on our time now, but I just want to thank everybody who has supported Dragon Smart, and just want you to know that we love getting to read Dragon Smart to classes. Like I said, we got to read to a class in Florida. We've read to classes in Medford, Oregon. We did a mystery Zoom, which was really fun. Was it last week, the week before?
I think 2 weeks.
To Melissa Hayes' class in second grade class in Ohio. And they guessed where they had already heard the story because another person had done a mystery Zoom and read Dragon Smart, which is really cool. But we got to do kind of a Q&A with them for them to guess where we were from. And then we got to answer questions about Dragon Smart. And that was really, really cool and just really fun to get to hear the feedback from kids and what they think about Tommy the Dragon and just all of their wonderings. It's really, really sweet. So I want to share with you all these resources. We have curated a variety of lessons and activities that you can use in your classroom if you want to read Dragon Smart to your kids and then be able to follow up with some lesson activities. You can find those resources here either by scanning the QR code or by typing in the bit.ly address. It is key sensitive, so make sure that you have the D and the S and the R all capitalized there. And then also just know that we would love to come and read, well, virtually. It's going to be more difficult to bring us in person. We would do it, but it's a little bit more tricky to come in person. But we would love to be able to share Dragon Smart with your class. And we are available to do that. Just reach out to us. You can fill out this form, bit.ly/discuss possibilities. And there's lots of options for speaking there. I love doing keynotes and workshops and consulting and all of that too. But if you just want Tommy and I to read Dragon Smart to your class, we would love to talk to you about setting up a time to do that and just doing a Q&A with your kids. It's so fun. And I see in the chat, sequel. Tommy, what do you think about a sequel?
Well, after all these read-alouds and all the things we've been doing, that I think we can both agree is the most asked question by all the kids. And we have had amazing suggestions on some characters. And hopefully if we can do a sequel in the future, I would love to put some of those ideas that the kids had, because there were some amazing ideas and some really cool ideas for characters. And especially now that I know more of how to do it, I'd be excited on what to do. So hopefully is the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many great topic ideas. Like kids had some great storylines that they were sharing with us when we were reading with them. So yeah, that would be really fun. We have some swag ideas in the works. So
we definitely have some merch ideas in the works. Very, very excited about that because I started with designing clothes and stuff. So it's really, really cool to be able to do that and think of some fun Tommy the Dragon stuff that kids might want, like I would have wanted. So yeah, very exciting. And also, if anyone wants to contact me at all, the only social media that I'm really active on is Instagram, and my username is Tommy J Richmond. And yeah, I'd love to answer any questions. Or
it is. I was thinking there was an underscore, but that's on Twitter, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Twitter's a whole different story. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I think I was able to put it in the chat there, but Tommy J Richmond on Instagram. So yeah, definitely make sure to follow him. We're trying to help him with his social following there.
I know, I'm trying to get better. I got an Instagram. I will say though, I got an Instagram for the release of Dragon Smart. So bear with me.
Yes, you're doing great. You're doing great. You retweeted the promo for this today, like within minutes. So I was impressed.
Trying to get better, but you are the master at it, and you make it easy because then you have the template, and then it's easy for me to share. You have all the good ideas.
Well, it's been so fun, everyone, and we can see it. Oh, we can see it. I don't know what he's referring to. I don't know. Maybe your social media.
I bet that's what it is.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining in tonight. We hope that you love Dragon Smart, and reach out to us if you have any questions. And we will be doing a drawing for a Dragon Smart book. So definitely, even if you're not watching this live, please put comments in the chat, because everybody who's put a comment in the chat for this live, either on YouTube or on Facebook Live, will get in the drawing, and we will do that drawing tomorrow morning. And so again, we're going to be giving a copy, one of each copy of a paperback and a hardback. So make sure you get those comments in the chat. And thank you so much. Thanks, Tommy, for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you guys all for being here.
Have a good night, everyone.